ওদের ক্লাস অটো ক্যান্সেল করে দিচ্ছে।
বৃষ্টি জন্য
সংঘাতের কারণে ব্রিটিশ ভারতের মুসলমানরা অনুভব করে যে সংখ্যাগরিষ্ঠ হিন্দুদের সাথে তাদের সাথে
খাইছো নাস্তা খাইছো আজিজ নাস্তা খাইছো ব্রেকফাস্ট করছো
না বানাইতেছি আসলে বলতে দিই আমি বানাইতেছি।
ভারতবর্ষের মুসলমানদের মধ্যে যে ঘটনার ফলে এই উপলব্ধি সবচেয়ে গভীরভাবে প্রভাব ফেলে সেটা হলো 1905 সালে বঙ্গভঙ্গ মে ফেব্রুয়ারিতে হিন্দুদের এগ্রেসিভ রিঅ্যাকশন এর ফলে 1906 সালের ডিসেম্বর মাসে মুসলিম লীগের রাজনৈতিক আবির্ভাব। সেখানে ইতিহাস আগে থেকে বিস্তারিতভাবে মুসলিম লীগ গঠনের আগে 1906 সালের অক্টোবর মাসে ভারতবর্ষের কয়েকজন বড় মুসলমান নেতা প্রিন্স আগা খানের নেতৃত্বে সিমলাতে ভাইসরয় লর্ড উইন্টনের সাথে দেখা করেন। সিমলায় ভাইসরয়ের পাশা ভাইস রিগাল প্যালেসে এই মিটিংটা অনুষ্ঠিত হয়। সেই মিটিংয়ে মুসলমান নেতারা সর্বপ্রথম ভাইসরয়ের কাছে মুসলমানদের জন্য আলাদা নির্বাচনী ক্ষমতা আবেদন করেন। ভাইসরয়ের কাছে মুসলমান নেতারা একটা অ্যাড্রেস ড্রাফট করে উপস্থাপন করেন। সেটা ড্রাফট করছিল বিহারের সৈয়দ হোসেন ফিকরার আর উত্তরপ্রদেশের সৈয়দ মীর মেহেদিয়ান। তিনি তখন মুসলিম ঘোষণা করেছিলেন আর সৈয়দ আহমদ খানের ঘনিষ্ঠ বন্ধু ও উত্তরসূরি। সে দাবিতে কি বলা আছে তার একটা অংশ হচ্ছে এটা ইংরেজিতে চিঠি লিখছে তবে বাংলায় এটা লিখছে মুসলমানরা একটা স্বতন্ত্র সম্প্রদায় যাদের কিছু অতিরিক্ত স্বার্থ আছে যা অন্যান্য সম্প্রদায়ের সাথে মিলে না বরং এই সব স্বার্থ কখনো কখনো প্রতিষ্ঠিত না। এর ফলে সিমলা অধিবেশনে মুসলমান নেতারা ভাইসরয়কে জানান যে সামনে ব্রিটিশ ভারতের যে নতুন সাংবিধানিক রিফর্ম বা সংস্কার আইন আসছে সেখানে যেন মুসলমানদের জন্য সেপারেট ইলেকট্রনিক বা আলাদা ইলেকট্রনিক থাকে। অর্থাৎ মুসলমানরা ভোট দেবে মুসলমান হবে, হিন্দুরা ভোট দেবে হিন্দু হবে। এটার একটা নাম ছিল রয়্যাল। লর্ড উইন্টো মুসলমানদের স্বার্থ রক্ষা করতে চেয়েছিলেন এবং 1909 সালে যে মডেলিটি অ্যাক্ট পাস করা হয় ব্রিটিশ পার্লামেন্টে ভারতবর্ষের সংবিধান নিয়ে সেখানে সর্বপ্রথম মুসলমানদের জন্য আলাদা ইলেকট্রন বর্ণনা করা হয়। এখানে মুসলমানরা সেখানে অনুভব করবে হিন্দুরা হিন্দুরা দেখতো এসবের ইতিহাসের বাস্তবতা কি ইতিহাসের একেবারে শরৎচন্দ্র নীল রায় নীরজচন্দ্র সেগুলো থেকে কপি করেই প্রমাণ করে থাকতে হবে সেটা অন্য আলাদা। এই ধারাবাহিকতা এবং আরো অসংখ্য ঘটনার ফলশ্রুতিতে 1947 সালে পাকিস্তান রাষ্ট্রের আবির্ভাব ঘটে। এছাড়া আরেকটা উদাহরণ হচ্ছে এশিয়ার চারটে গোত্র আছে ওয়ালুই যারা ফরাসি ভাষায় কথা বলে, আরেকটা হচ্ছে ফ্লেমিশ বা যারা ডাচ দখলদার বলে। ফেডারেল পার্লামেন্টে এই দুই গোত্রের রিপ্রেজেন্টেশন দিতে পারবে না, তাদের আলাদা আলাদা প্রতিনিধি থাকবে। এছাড়া এদের নিজস্ব আলাদা পার্লামেন্ট থাকবে, মানে খালি ওয়ালুদের জন্য পার্লামেন্ট আর খালি ফ্লেমিশদের জন্য পার্লামেন্ট। তাহলে এতক্ষণ যেটা বুঝলাম আমরা সেটার মর্মার্থ হচ্ছে একটা গোত্র বা গোষ্ঠী তখনই নিজেদের জন্য আলাদা সেপারেট ইলেকটোরেট অথবা রিপ্রেজেন্টেশন দাবি করে যখন তারা অনুভব করে যে তাদের স্বার্থ অন্য গোত্র সংরক্ষণ করছে। তারা অন্য
পারভিন
গোত্রের
আসো, আমি গেলাম।
এবং অন্য গোত্রের মানুষ যা করবে যে সেটা তাদের স্বার্থের ঠিক বিপরীত। এখন এই যে নারীদের জন্য আলাদা সম্পর্ক দেওয়া সহজ, এটা তো একটা ধার্য মার্কা আলাদা রিপ্রেজেন্টেশনের একটা সিটিকাল ক্লাব মানে সিটিকাল ফ্যামিলি এটা লক্ষ্য করে দেখেন। এই যে দেখেন বিল্ডিং মানুষ certificates, decorative stone, soil, mulch, everything you need. Who has everything you need? Who? Central Landscape Supplies. That's who. Oh, that's who.
Lena. Hi, everybody. Good to see you all. My name is Joanne, and I'm one of the Healthy Lifestyle Advisors. I'm also holding these sit-fit sessions. Please mute. Yeah, cool. So, yeah, for those of you that have joined the Zoom session, if you could please mute yourselves. Let's see here, or actually I can do it here. Cool, thanks for that. Okay, so as you know, you are more than welcome to bring on any kinds of tools. So whether it's these, I've got little dumbbells here. If you don't have free weights, you can always use cans or water bottles that are of equivalent weight. You can also use your resistance bands as well. They're quite helpful in progressing the exercises. So we will get started with a couple of warm-ups. I'm just not too sure why I have to admit people. Might be people in the waiting room. I'm not sure if you guys are able to admit people as well, but people are sitting in the waiting room. Yeah, it's kind of odd. Never really had to do that. That's okay. Cool. So I'll give you guys maybe a minute just to get ready, grab your water, grab your tools or your resistance bands, and we will get started with today's sit-fit session. And hopefully you guys can all hear and see me as well. If you can't at any stage, do let me know. Okay. And let me just pin myself. There we go. Okay. Hopefully that's a good angle for everybody. Yep. That could be it. Cool. Alright. Okay, so hopefully everyone's ready. Oh, more people in the waiting room. Gosh. I wonder if I can change that so people are in the waiting room. Yeah, seems like people do have to go into the waiting room. Oh, how odd. Okay, well anyway, I'll sort that out later. Hopefully there's not a lot of people still waiting. Okay, cool. Right, let's get started with a warm-up. Okay, so what I want to do is just to warm up our legs a little bit. So if we can, we're just going to lift up our knees. So what you want to do is try and really focus on the core area, and you're going to try and keep your shoulders square. So keep straight forward, no hunching, more just kind of a neutral position. And then do want you to think about your breathing as well. So as your heart rate goes up, you will be breathing a little bit more heavily, but I do want you to keep that consistent. Breathing in and breathing out. Going at your own pace as well. Okay. A couple more seconds of marching on the spot. Really feeling that in your core with your abdominal muscles. Okay. And 3, 2, 1. Okay, both legs down. Alright, so now we're just going to try and work on the mobility of our ankles. So just nice circles there. If you're not able to do the circles, you can tap onto the floor like I am doing now. And then kind of work your way around the sides. Okay, so keep doing that. Just going to let a few more people in. Okay, and then switching to your other leg, please. Okay, nice circles, or otherwise feel free to do the leg taps. Good. All right. Cool. So once that's done, what you want to do is move to your shoulders. So nice big circles, but you're going to move your shoulders forward. Okay. So if you're not able to do the full range of motion, then go upwards and down. So kind of like you're shrugging almost, like that. And then when you can, move your shoulders forward and then bring it back. Big deep breaths as well with this one. Keeping your back nice and straight. Okay? And what you want to do now is same motion, but just move your shoulders backwards. Okay? So nice big shoulders, shoulder circles. Right, and slowly hold. Okay, now we're going to look to the left-hand side. Try not to move your shoulders, they're still facing forward, you're just looking to your left. Back to center, same thing to the right. Still big here. Back to center, you're going to look down to your feet. Keeping your back straight, and then back to center and all the way to the top there. Okay, nice big circles with your head. Okay, and then do it the other way around as well. Alright, cool. So we'll get started with the exercises. Just gonna let a few more people in. Okay, cool. Alright, so now what we're gonna start with are our legs, okay? So we're gonna do some leg extensions. So you're gonna be sitting up nice and tall, edge of your seat, one leg up and back down, okay? So it doesn't have to be all the way up here, so I'll show you on the side. Back is straight and leg horizontal. Okay, so when your leg is all the way up here, if you can, you do want to squeeze your thigh muscles as hard as you can. And if you want, you can lean on your chair as well. So leaning back here, that'll help with any kind of strain in your lower back. But if you can, nice and tall. Okay, keep going, guys. Okay, I'm just going to be here for a couple more seconds. Okay, and remember to keep squeezing and focusing on your breath as well. Okay, let's do 3, 2, and last one. Okay, cool. So no break, we're going to go straight to our other leg. Same sort of thing. We're going to pick our leg up and really squeeze our thighs as we're up there. Okay. Alright, halfway there. Remembering to focus on your breath and also keep your core nice and engaged. You want to be squeezing your abdominal muscles as well as your thigh muscles. Okay, and let's do 3, 2, last one, squeeze and release. Okay, great job, guys. Take a big breath in, 45 degrees, and you're just going to bring them up here. Okay, and then slowly back down. All right, so a couple of these up here in 1 second. 3, 2, 1, all the way down. 3, 2, 1. Cool. You can do this with your body weight as well, especially if you are new to this or haven't done this many times. If you have, I do encourage you to either use the weights or bands, keeping your wrists nice and straight as well, so try not to bend too much like that. Okay, and focusing on your breathing as well. Quite a number of things to think about when you are doing these movements, but once you get used to it, it'll become like second nature. Okay, so a couple more seconds to go. Nice and slow on your way down. Let's do 3 more of these. 3, 2, and last one, all the way up, and slowly move your arms downwards. Okay, great job. Cool. So now, again, keep taking breaths in, regulate your breath. What we're going to do are sit to stand. So these are great for leg strength and also to help with your lower back pain. So feel free to grab weights if you want them, but otherwise, free weight is fine as well, only body weight. So legs shoulder width apart, you're going to step upwards, you're going to squeeze your glutes as hard as you can, back nice and straight, and then you're going to sit back down again. Okay? Cool. So driving up your weight from your heels, if you can, nice and slow, steady is the way to go. And if this is really easy for you and you've done this many times, you're squeezing all the right muscles, they get it screaming to you. Grab some weights, hold them on close to your chest. And if this is too easy for you, you can progress quite a bit with these, meaning either you're needing to do more reps to feel tired, or your muscles are just not really feeling it. You can also do it unassisted, which means you'll be in a deeper squat like this, and pushing all the way up and squeezing. Okay, so lots of different variations that you can use and try. But the important thing is keeping your back neutral, and your knees are also nice and straight, so you're not bumping them like that. Good work, guys. Keep going. Just got a couple more to go. Really squeezing your muscles as hard as you can at the very top here. And remembering to breathe nice and consistently. You should really be feeling this in your thighs and your glutes. Alright, almost there, guys. Let's do 3 more. 3, 2, and lucky last. All the way up. And squeeze. And release. Okay. Fantastic work, guys. Okay, so grab a seat, take a bit of a breather. Oops.
Squeeze of what? Our hand or legs? Excuse me?
Yeah, squeeze your legs, squeeze your glutes as well. So when you're at this part here, squeezing your glutes before coming back down. Squeezing and back down.
Okay, understood. Thanks.
Okay. Yep, no worries. So we're actually at the halfway mark now. For those of you that do want a bit of a breather or a break, feel free to take a 10 to 15 second one. Grab some water, grab a sip of water. For those of you that don't need a break, what you can do is march from the spot here. You can either do this, or you can do it the seated version. Okay, like what we did to start off with today. So keep going with that. I'll be back in about 10 seconds. Everybody. Yep. Okay. any kind of weights that you have. So, well, you can do this with your body weight too. We're going to do back nice and straight, arms out like this, okay? And what we're going to do is we're going to pull them backwards and squeeze our back muscles. Okay, so really squeezing your back muscles and scapula like this before going back out again. Squeeze and back out. Alright, back nice and straight. Keeping your core tight. Sorry about that. Okay, keep breathing. And really squeezing as well at the very back there. When you're down here, you're roughly 90 degrees, so you can see your arms. Roughly 90. Okay, good work, guys. Couple more seconds to go. We're more than halfway. Breathing, keeping your core tight. We're almost there. Let's do 3 more. 3, 2, last one. And 1. Squeeze the back muscles and release. Okay. Roll your shoulders back a little bit. Move around. Take a breather. Okay. Cool. Right, so next up what we're going to do is another leg exercise. So we're going to stand up and we're going to go to the left side of our chair. You can do this seated if you want as well. So what we're going to do are some calf raises, okay? So legs apart like this. You're going to hold on to your chair to start and you're going to go up like that, okay? Upwards and then slowly back down again. So you can do that while you're holding. If you're not able to stand up, you can also do this seated. So there is a seated version for most exercises like this. Just want to make sure that you're keeping your legs and your hips aligned. Okay. So 2 options, either the seated version or you can stand up as well. Good work, guys. Okay, this is great for your calf muscles, your soleus muscles. So if you're seated anywhere throughout the day and if you can actually just work out this movement here. Do it for a couple of minutes, even if it's a minute, that would be beneficial. Keeping your body nice and straight, aligned, core tight. Okay, couple more seconds to go. Just focusing on your breathing as well as we're doing this. Okay, and 3, 2, and last one, all the way down. Okay, for those of you that have been standing, keep standing. So what we're going to do now is we are going to do a balancing exercise. So holding onto the chair at first, we're going to lift up our left leg. So once you've got your left leg up and you're holding on, I do want you to really tense up your muscles, especially on your right leg. Okay, so squeezing all your muscles and seeing if there is a difference for you. Okay, so back nice and straight, holding for a few seconds, and if you're feeling confident or comfortable too, you can actually let go of that chair. See if you're able to really balance on one leg. Okay, slowly let go if you can. You can pop your arms out if that helps with your balance. Really holding in and fixing it on your breath. Keeping those muscles squeezed. You can look at one spot in front of you as well, just focusing on that spot, it'll help you balance. Breathing, we're almost there. breathing in, standing up and tall. Okay, once you're balanced, what you can do is slowly move your way forward if you can, or if you've got a wall actually, it'd be easier to kind of work your way like this. Okay, and if you can, sort of walk your way back to where we started. And if you can do this without holding on, even better. But we can always build up to that. So moving on to the next side now. So same sort of thing. We're just going to lift our right leg up, okay? And you might feel a bit of a difference. So it's easier on the side or a little bit harder. But starting with this position, just holding on, squeezing your muscles now. Keep going, guys. Okay, keep going. And focus on the breathing as usual. If you can, and if you have centered yourself, then slowly let go of that chair. Okay, see if you can hold this position for a few seconds, really picking up your muscles, okay, and looking at one spot either in front of you or on the ground. Really trying to keep your body aligned here. Couple more seconds. And then when I count to 3 again, I'll get you guys to put your right leg in front of your left this time. Alright, so 1, 2, and 3. Go, and you can hold on to the chair if you like, or holding on to the wall. Recenter yourself, breathing. See if you can let go of that chair, just in your own time. And slowly work your way forward. Okay, and if you can, working your way back. Okay, really thinking about those muscles that you're using. Alright, okay, great job guys. So that's the balance all done. We're going to move back to upper body now. So if you do have bands, grab them, or if you've got these weights here, we're going to work on our shoulders. So we're going to keep our legs relatively apart, so shoulder width or a little bit more. And then we're going to lean a tiny bit forward. Sorry about that. And what we're going to do, so this is what it kind of looks like. You've got a slight bend there. You're going to lift your arms up like this. Okay? So this is what it looks like in the front. Yep, good job, guys. And again, if you are holding on to anything like a band or weights like me, you want to make sure your wrists are straight. Keep going. So halfway there. Keeping your back straight and also pull tight. Alright, and let's do 3 more guys. Come on, 3, 2, last one, and 1. Okay, pop your heels down. Great work, guys. So let's do one last exercise before stretching. So with this one, we're going to do is going to lift our legs up again, okay? So we're going to go like this and then pop it back down. Alright, so just on the side. Focusing on your breathing and really thinking about your muscles. So how are they feeling at the back there? If not that great, you can lean back a bit onto the chair. Okay, and now I want you to put your arms up like this. Okay, pretending you're about to go sunbathing. Okay, and you're going to look to your left hand side. Good work. We're just going to be here for a few seconds. You're not trying to touch your elbows to your knees. Okay, you're just really looking to the side here. And so 3 more. 3, 2, and last one. Okay, all the way down. Great work. So now we're going to do the same thing. We're just going to lift our other leg up for now. Okay, and now pop your arms up, just for standby, okay? And breezy, we're going to look to our other side. Okay, just a bit of a twisting motion there, but nice and steady. Okay, keep going, just a couple more seconds to go. 3, 2, and 1, all the way down. Okay, relax everybody. We're just going to go into stretches now. Okay, so pop your arms in front of you like this. All right, all the way up, all the way down. Okay, and sorry guys, just going to quickly get people in. All right, and then you're going to hold your arm like this, kind of like a cross shape. You're going to pull back, look to the opposite end. Holding for a few seconds, just thinking about your breath. And then the other way. Push back a little bit more if you can. And release. Clasp your hands behind you like this and pull down if you can. Okay, release. Nice work. And you're just going to, you can do this seated as well, but you're going to stretch out your legs and you're just going to hold this position, okay? Switching to your other knee. And slowly work your way up. Okay, thanks everybody. Hope you enjoyed that session. So we're going to hold a heal module or a online session now on mental health and well-being. So that's going to start in about, I'll say 2 minutes. I just need to set that up. So if you want to stay for that, feel free to. Or take a little bit of a break just before we start, but it will be about mental health. So I'm going to talk about things like box breathing, different methods and strategies to cope with stresses and get better sleep. So yeah, if you're into that, feel free to stay behind. It'll be in the same room. So I will be back in about 2 minutes. See you.
পারবিন, আমি নিচে গেলাম।
যাও,
খিদে লাগছে না।
আরেকটা ক্লাস আছে তো,
এটা কি ক্লাস?
এই যে এর উপর হেলথের শুরু কর।
আর কি আরো আধা ঘন্টা?
হ্যাঁ,
আমি থেকে
আমি আসতেছি, একটু পরে শুরু করে দিয়ে আসতেছি।
Sorry, everybody. It seems like we've got a recording in the presentation. Let me just quickly change that. Da, 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 da. Cool. So hopefully you can all hear and see me for now. I'm just going to see if I can get another presentation. Okay. So, for those of you that haven't met me before, my name is Joanne and I'm a healthy lifestyle advisor at Green Prescription. I've just held a sit-fit class, which is an exercise session. So for those of you that didn't join that, feel free to join next time. And today we'll be talking about mental health and well-being. So I'm just going to get the slides sorted so that there's no recording. But in the meantime, if you'd like to take some notes, feel free to grab a pen and paper, or otherwise, if you've got a tablet, or you can use your phone as well in the Notes app to write down a few notes for yourself. Cool. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to share my screen. So hopefully you can see that. And please let me know if you are looking at something else or seeing something else. Okay, cool. So that should hopefully work. And I'm hoping there's no recording. Yeah. Okay, fab. Can I just get a thumbs up from those of you that can see the screen? Okay.
Yes, I can see.
Yeah, okay. Okay, fantastic. Thanks, Parveen. Okay, so, and thank you, Manpreet. All right, cool. So feel free to ask questions as we go, but you can also save them for last as well if you like. So today I'm going to talk about mental health awareness and self-care. A couple of things that we are going to go through today is understanding what mental health is and what it means to everybody. It can be quite individual and different. So we're going to talk through that, and then also we're going to brush through different factors that do affect our mental health and well-being, the benefits of having good mental health or positive mental health, and then we're going to go through a couple of things of self-care that we can do, different strategies that we can utilize, tools to really help bring our mental health back up. And then also we will be sharing some resources on where to find help as well. Okay, so why should we understand or look into mental health? It affects the ways that we think, the ways that we feel, and ultimately how we act, or the actions that we do every single day. It influences our relationships, work, and overall well-being. And it's actually kind of sad, but 1 in 5 Kiwis do experience some kind of mental health challenge. Not too sure where on the scale that is, but that is quite a high number. So good mental health, can mean that we're reflecting consistently on the times when we're feeling quite low or negative, bogged down, and really honing in on the different reasons that could have contributed to that. Sorry about that. I understand it's going to be very, very different for all of us. It could be external factors, it could be very much internal as well, hormones, things like that. So having to think about what's really contributing to poor mental health, that will help us really figure out, how we can go about it and strategize and help us feel better. So I want you to all to think about one word that can describe how you're feeling today or at this point in time. Okay, so not the easiest to kind of hone it down to one word, but have a think and feel free to share what that one word is. I can go first. So my one would be, I'm feeling quite resilient today. Yeah. So lots of overwhelming things coming at me today this morning, but handling it quite well. So resilient is mine, but it can be any word, and you can definitely be honest with yourself as well if you're not feeling the greatest. Being able to name it can be very helpful as a first step. And feel free to also populate the chat box if you don't feel like voicing out today. You can write in the chat how you're feeling if you can think of one word that can describe that. No takers? No feelings today? Okay, cool. So, oh yeah, it's coming through. Emotional following a sudden death. I'm very sorry to hear that. Yeah, no, that's really tough. Task oriented. Yep, okay, practical, feeling fine, feeling cool. Yep, okay, so quite a broad range of different emotions this morning here. Anxious, feeling clarity, okay, yep, and feeling okay. Nice. Yeah, so it's good to see, fine but grooming, yep. Yeah, so huge range of emotions, which we'll find, throughout, whether it's our day or throughout our week, throughout the rest of the year, we're going to feel, a difference in emotions, which is completely normal. So we're going to talk about how we can navigate the times when we're feeling particularly low, and how to really, manage our emotions in that sense. So before that, we'll just talk a bit about different factors that can affect our mental health. So as we know, there's a lot of external things that can come at us. So lifestyle habits, things that we choose to do as well. So whether we're eating healthy, what our movement is like, how our sleep is, our family history as well. So genetics can also be a huge contributor in how we're feeling, how we regulate our emotions. Life experiences, this can look very different for everybody. Stresses, trauma, and significant changes in our lives can really, push us to one side of the spectrum as well. Biology, so, our brain chemistry, our brains all work very differently. Different hormonal influences can affect our mental health as well. So all of these different factors or elements can actually lead to certain changes in our mood or our behavior. This can be short term or it can be long term depending on, the person, but certain shifts in how we feel essentially. So it could be feeling quite, happy in one stage at one point in time, and then things or the factors that happen around us can actually, dip it quite quickly. This can lead to things like withdrawal from social interactions because, we don't always feel that sociable, when we're feeling negative. We don't want to affect others as well. So we tend to maybe isolate a little bit more and want to be by ourselves, which is completely fine as well. But, if it gets to the stage where it becomes quite chronic, then maybe we do want to see what else we can do really. Changes in sleeping or eating habits as well. For me, I'm an emotional eater, so if I'm pretty stressed, then I like to actually eat a larger volume. For some, it could be eating much less. And, it can affect your sleep as well. We might be trying to distract ourselves, we might be scrolling, we might be watching something, and then that can affect our sleep. Decline in motivation as well, because, if we're going down kind of like a little bit of a rabbit hole, we can potentially feel less confident, and hence we believe in ourselves a little bit less, and hence become less motivated to doing things that are good for us. Can lead to self-medicating as well, and this can again look very different for everybody. Okay, all right, so next up here, so we're going to look at a few things or a few ways we can actually implement self-care, how to look after ourselves a little bit, or be more gentle with ourselves during times of stress. So a couple of benefits here of mental health. Manpreet, yep, you won't see the previous slide. Let me know which slide that is. Hang on a second. So is it the slide here that you wanted to see? Or is it the one previous to this one? Yes, this one. Okay, cool. Yep, so feel free to, take a photo of the slide if you want, or jot down a couple of notes that might be helpful for you. And, even if you've already identified a couple of things here that you can relate to, that's something else that you can be aware of and jot down just for your own information. Yeah. Cool. Okay, so moving on now. All right, moving on to the self-care portion. So a couple of benefits of, a better mental health over here would be improved emotional well-being, and this could look like being able to manage our emotions a little better. So when we're feeling very stressed, we might be able to bounce back a lot quicker or regulate our emotions a lot better. Okay, and that means we can also, be the best version of ourselves, I suppose, and foster better relationships as well. Increase productivity, so we're more equipped, got a stronger foundation to really improve on the things that we can tackle on that particular day. Can lead to healthier lifestyle choices as well. When we're in a better mood or a better state of mind, we're more likely to look after ourselves, even if it's nutrition wise, movement. Um, we've got more motivation to do those things. Greater self awareness as well, because, we're able to really identify the times when we're feeling quite low, the reasons why, and hence then we can formalize a strategy to help ourselves out of those situations the next time that it happens. Enhanced coping skills as well, so mental resilience. We might find that our stress tolerance does slowly start to build as we get better and better at managing our emotions. This can also help with reducing anxiety and things like depression as well. So anxiety is, I would say, quite a future-focused emotion. So we tend to feel anxious and nervous when we're thinking about something that hasn't really happened yet. Might be, could be like an interview, or it could be walking into a potentially difficult conversation, maybe. Um, it could be conflict as well. So it's very future based, and being able to, be more mentally resilient, and feel a little bit better in ourselves emotionally, we can lessen that anxiety. Okay. All right, so now that we know all the benefits, I'm going to show you a well-being wheel. So I'm not sure if any of you have seen this before, but it looks a little bit like this. So this really does help with self-care. So it's giving us different elements or different categories that we can, potentially relate to. So this will be a little bit of an activity. So I'll give you guys some time to really look through the wheel and the different categories and the things that they represent. So I want you to identify what are the areas in this wheel that you can relate to, that you're very strong in at this point in time. So, for example, you could feel quite strong in yourself physically. You've been doing the sit fit sessions, you've been going on your walks, going to the pools or gyms, going to classes. That could be an area that you're very strong in because you are kind of feeding it, you're working on it, you're prioritizing it with your time and your energy. And then I'd like you to also pick a few categories where you would like to spend a little bit more energy and a little bit more time on, just to kind of pick that up a bit. If you guys have heard of Te Whare Tapa, that's also a really great multi-health model to really identify whether your pillars that are holding up your health and well-being are being nurtured, and if not, which areas are not being nurtured, and what do you really want to prioritize? So making sure you're recognizing what you're doing really well in, so things that you're strong in, and also maybe your weaknesses at this point in your life. This will help us create a plan so that we can incorporate little actionable steps into our current lifestyles to really achieve and make those areas stronger. So having a think about that, jotting it down as well, and then thinking about what's one action, one thing that you can do even today to action, that you can improve the area where you're kind of a little bit more weaker in at this point in time. Okay, and is that action going to be practical? You know, is it realistic for you to add into your lifestyle right now? And how much is it going to help you build up that pillar? Okay, so I'll go through each one individually, just so we've got a decent idea around each one. So lots of them are quite straightforward, but I'll start with the emotional one. So emotional well-being. This can mean how well we are managing our thoughts and our emotions, right? So how are we talking to ourselves? How are we internalizing things? And how are we perceiving different things? So if something bad were to happen, for example, if someone cuts you off in traffic, how are you talking to yourself or to that person that cut you off, what are your stress levels like when things like that out of your control are happening? So we can't control the driver, but we can somewhat control how we feel and how we approach that situation, and that's a part of being emotionally well or resilient. So that's emotional well-being. Lots of different other ways to interpret that, but yeah, happy for you guys to have a discussion. So the next one is physical well-being. This one here is talking about our physical bodies. How are we taking care of our physical bodies now? Are we moving regularly when we can? Are we, eating healthy to nourish ourselves, our physical body? Are we sleeping well? And if not, what are some of the things? What's that one action we can do today to really help us get there? Social well-being is the next one. So that's how connected we are feeling with people that we care about, so friends, our family, colleagues, acquaintances, neighbours. Are we speaking to them? When was the last time we spoke to a friend or a loved one? How connected are we feeling? Are we feeling supported by people? And are we, in turn, able to support people as well? Okay, spiritual well-being is the next one, and this one can be quite broad. It can mean different things to everybody. So it's thinking about maybe potentially a higher being. Could be looking into our purpose. Are we spending our time on the things that we actually care about and that we value? Are they aligned to our values? And the next one is emotional well-being. So, sorry, not emotional, environmental well-being. Pretty straightforward. So this can mean, is your living space comfortable, or are you feeling relaxed in your living space? Do you like where you live? Sometimes we can't really control that, fully. But thinking about, if the answer is no, and this is something you want to work on, how are we able to remove ourselves maybe from our environments that are stressing us out, or that we're not feeling safe or relaxed in? Maybe we can go somewhere else in the community. There's libraries open, there's community centres. You've got the green prescription card. You can go to, a leisure centre, maybe a park for a walk just to take a break. So thinking about the things that you can do to help you with your environmental well-being. Economic well-being, money. So are our money habits helping us, feel secure and, relatively stress-free? If not, what's the kind of support that we can go towards that can help us with this aspect? Yeah. Do we have friends, family that we can talk to? Otherwise, some external places as well. So yeah, quite important to go through each and every one of these. I think I did go through, there's also occupational health. So that's, regarding our work, how satisfied we are feeling at our job. And then the last one is the intellectual. So how are we feeling? Are we enriching ourselves with information? Are we learning every day? And what does that look like to you? So that can also mean different things to everybody. But yeah, so that's a general gist of all the different aspects here of the well-being wheel. So feel free to take a photo, or hopefully we've all written down a couple of things where we're quite strong in versus where we want to work on. Okay, cool. So now let's look at a few techniques that we can use straight away during times of stress. So being mindful and being in the present moment tends to help. So this can help reduce feelings of anxiety, nervousness, and help improve our focus and increase our clarity. So there's a grounding technique called 5 4 3 2 1 grounding technique. This one here you can actually play around with. So, for example, maybe you can choose 5 things that you can see right now, just around the room. So, identifying 5 different things and really just voicing it out as well if you can. So, I might go table, kettle, window, human out there, and maybe my own physical body. So, these are the things that I can see. And then next what you want to do is pick 4 things that you can touch right now. So, I can touch my table, my laptop, my phone, my chair. So you can play around with this. And then notice 3 things that you can also hear. So for me, the weather's not looking too good up in Auckland. So I would say I can hear the rain, I can hear a bit of the wind, I can hear my voice talking. And then 2 things that you can smell, right? So maybe it's the smell of your diffuser or just your room, or I don't know, dirty socks in the corner. Could be anything. And then 1 thing that you can taste in your mouth. Okay, so it could just be saliva, it could be your breakfast. So yeah, what this does is really focuses your mind to the present moment, stops your mind from wandering, and it brings you back in temporarily. So that's a good technique that you can use. The other one is a breathing technique. Okay, so this one, as we know, breathing really helps regulate us. Physiologically, we can actually slow down our heart rate with our breathing. So controlled breathing helps us calm the mind, of course, and also what we call our autonomic nervous system, which tends to kind of fire when we are stressed or feeling a negative way. So let's try this box breathing method. I'm sure some of you have heard of this. So what we're going to do is we're going to breathe in for 4 seconds. So I'm going to count for you. We're going to hold that breath in for 4 seconds, exhale for 4 seconds, and then we're going to hold again for 4, and then you start again. So you can do this as many times as you want. I would say even 2 minutes of doing this can be really, really helpful in bringing stress levels down. So I'll start counting, and if we can all just do this together. Okay, so starting now, go 1, breathe in, 2, 3, 4, and then hold your breath, 2, 3, 4, and then exhale for 2, 3, 4, hold your breath again, 2, 3, 4, and breathe in, 2, 3, 4, and hold your breath, 2, 3, 4, and then breathe out again, 2, 3, 4, and hold, 2, 3, and 4, and you can breathe normally again. So we've only done 2 cycles of this breathing exercise, but hopefully you're all feeling a little bit more calm. So you can imagine if you're doing this for a little bit longer, how helpful that could be. Okay, so hopefully that's something that you can add to your toolkit there. So next up, we're going to talk a bit about healthy eating. So this is equally as important, I would say, for our mental health and well-being, because what we feed ourselves can actually shape our perceptions, not only affecting our physical bodies, but also our minds. So first of all, physical activity. Want to make sure we're moving our bodies. So awesome to see a lot of you at session this morning at 10. It boosts our mood because when our skeletal muscles contract, it tells our brain, so hormones that they secrete tells our brain to secrete happy hormones, which is why, when we go for that walk, when we're doing some light activity, getting some fresh air, we feel much better. So even just 30 minutes, half an hour a day, short walk can count, even less than 30 minutes. If you can't commit to the full 30 minutes, you can break it down. So 10-minute sessions in between your working day or whatever you're doing on that day can be very helpful. Healthy eating, so supporting our mental and physical health, it helps lift our energy or stabilize our energy, enhance our mood and our blood sugar levels for those of us that are watching that. So we want to make sure we're eating a very good variety of fruits and vegetables, including things like whole grains as well, lean proteins, and thumb-sized amount of healthy fats. So for those of you that follow the healthy plate model, this is what we want to try to aim for in every meal. I know it's not quite possible 100% of the time, which is fine, but as long as we're, going towards this and trying to achieve that. And over here you'll see a couple of stretching movements as well that you can do. I do recommend these day and night actually, or after static stretches after your exercise can be really helpful for your muscular health and your general range of motion. Okay, so making sure you incorporate some stretches into your day as well can help you sort of feel better throughout the day and then wake up also feeling better. All right, so quality sleep. Can I get just a raise of hands who gets a really good quality of sleep, or just a thumbs up? Okay, Agnes, yep, nice. Okay, the rest I can't see, but hopefully a few more. Yeah, so yeah, essentially good quality sleep is very important. Thanks, Michael. Oh, yeah, sorry, got a few questions. Yes, so there will be a pre-recording for today's module. Zodiac, sorry, I didn't see your question. Okay, so yes, quality sleep is very, very much essential for mental health. It's going to look different for everybody again. I know some people can thrive on 6 hours, but others need maybe 9. So it's really about understanding your body and knowing what you need to have mental clarity to be able to feel good throughout your day without burning out and crashing out, okay, or relying on things like maybe caffeine too much. So as a general rule of thumb, we do want to aim for 7 to about 8 hours of sleep every night. This really allows our bodies to recover, helps with inflammation, especially if we are exercising quite a bit. We want our muscles to be able to recover. Our brain actually does a bit of a cleanse as well, gets rid of proteins called tau, which can actually affect some chronic conditions down the line as well. So our bodies are doing kind of like a refresh almost when we're sleeping, so it's very, very important. A couple of things that can actually help us achieve a better sleep or better quality of sleep would be to make sure that we're actually comfortable physically. So we tend to sleep a little bit better, and again, it can be different for everybody, but we tend to sleep a little bit better in a cooler environment. So making sure your room's comfortable, you've got the right blankets, your pillows are right for you, maybe the positioning of your pillows as well, having them slightly lower down to where your shoulders are instead of having to prop your head up like this, waking up with a bad niggly neck. Making sure that we're winding down the right way. We're not looking at our screens for too long. That tends to be my problem, unfortunately. Sorry about that. Yeah. So I tend to put my phone, or I try to put my phone away from where I sleep, so that I'm not tempted to look at it. Knowing yourself as well. If you have trouble falling asleep, maybe that's something you need to try and do, or maybe you can switch that activity to reading. Reading tends to tire me out. I don't know about you guys, but I do tend to fall asleep quite easily there. what is the best temperature for sleep? So that's a good question. I actually don't know that, but I would say it's probably around 10 something. Yeah. So probably, I don't know why 16 comes up, but it could be less than that. So it really depends. So what I would say is probably look into it yourself. So just kind of when you have really good nights of sleep, just be aware of that and note down, oh, what season is it? Is it a little bit colder? Is it a little bit, and you can check your phone to see what temperature it is. So that might be a little bit helpful. Michael, can you spell the word for proteins removed while sleeping? Yep, so that's TAU, tau proteins. Yeah, I've just put it in the chat box. Yeah, cool. And a couple other things that we can also do is making sure we've got a good bedtime routine, even though we haven't maybe established that fully. So it can be things like taking a warm shower or a bath, maybe even. Maybe using things like essential oils, maybe that might help us, soothe us and tell our bodies, like, okay, it's bedtime, and help us get into a routine that way. A couple of things that we don't really want to do too much of is eating too close to bedtime, because when we're eating, our bodies are trying to digest, and it's not going to help us have a good sleep. And especially if you're dealing with things like acid reflux, lying down as well can actually exacerbate that. So definitely don't recommend. Personally, I would say at least 3 hours before bed, having your dinner, with a 3 hour gap. Even better if you can go on a light walk afterwards, just to bring down that blood sugar level. The other thing is, I mentioned your phones, and then of course for some people exercising can keep them up as well. So when you exercise and you stimulate your muscles too much, so a light walk probably isn't going to do that. But if you're going to the gym, if you're lifting weights using bands, it can actually produce more adrenaline and stress hormones, which actually keep us awake. So when we wake up in the morning, our cortisol or stress hormones actually go up, so we can actually be more awake. But if we're doing that at night time, then that can set ourselves up for a bit of a ride. So we might not want to go to sleep as quickly. And then other things is substances like your alcohol, smoking. Some people tend to smoke to keep awake, and some people tend to drink alcohol to lull themselves into sleep. Does work with alcohol in the beginning, but what it actually does is actually quite disruptive to your sleep, actually. So you tend to not get a good quality of sleep. You might go to sleep quickly, but not a good quality sleep. Caffeine as well, so knowing yourself, what are your tolerance levels? As we know, caffeine does have a relatively long, half-life. So in our bodies, if for me personally, if I were to drink caffeine past 1 p.m., then I tend to have a harder time going to sleep by the time I want to. So knowing that, not having caffeine too close to bedtime, for some people, it might actually be fine. I know people that drink coffee after dinner, which is crazy to me, but if it works for you, it's okay. But if you are doing that and you're finding that your sleep is not as good as you would like it to be, then maybe you'd like to revisit that and kind of think about that again. And then, of course, stress levels, stress hormones can keep us up. So if you're the type of person that has a lot of thoughts in your mind at night, make sure you write that down, so you're self-reassuring that you've written all those things down, and then you can come back to it the next day without feeling, worried that you might forget, because that can actually drive up anxiety and more stress. Yeah, cool. So I see Google says the best temperature of sleeping is between 18 and 21 degrees. Okay, personally this is too hot for me. Yeah, I like to be a bit cooler. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, different for everybody. So some people might even like to sleep in a colder environment, but be kind of wrapped up in blankets as well, or maybe you don't like blankets. So yeah, it's really personable. But what's important is knowing yourself. So if you know that, then make sure that environment is there for you when you sleep. Michael will go to bed way too late, like 1 a.m. to miss the melatonin kicking in, but still go to sleep in seconds. Okay, yeah, Yeah, so with the melatonin, I think that is also very reliant on our circadian rhythm, and everyone's circadian rhythm would be quite different as well, depending on what time we wake up, what times we eat, times we work, and the times that we choose to wind down. So yeah, your one could be kicking in a little bit later as well, but it does vary. So yeah, really fascinating stuff. So yeah, think about what improves your quality of sleep, jot that down, and what decreases your quality of sleep. That'll help you come up with a good bedtime routine to try out and hopefully help with your sleep. Next thing I want to talk about is making sure we're building or we've got a good support network around us so that we're connected with others. As I mentioned before, when we are feeling quite low, we tend to maybe isolate a little bit more. But knowing that there are a few people that we can always go to for even a little chat, or even a community that we can go to, maybe it's a class that we can go to, a specific place where we see familiar faces, that can be helpful too. We do want to make sure we can actually call someone, or otherwise, if you do want some more ideas around community that you can join, you can click onto this link here. So I can also send this to the group chat actually. That'll be helpful. Oops. Yeah, so I can pop this in the group chat. I'll just have to do that later because I have to exit. But yes, and then making sure that we've got our own individual hobbies as well that we like to partake in, things that we know will instantly, lift us up a little bit. Otherwise, seeking professional support can be very helpful as well. So I know that I think it's CAB, not sure if they still do it, but back a couple of years back, they provided free counselling sessions. I think it was 6 back then, I'm not sure now, but feel free to give CAB a ring just to explore your options there. Other places to find help, so there's many, many places here. Feel free to take a photo. And, there's lots of different lines that you can call where you can speak to trained counsellors on spot, and different ones that you can connect to as well. So depending on where you live, there's after hours numbers, there's lifeline, and of course, if someone is in immediate danger, definitely call 111, the AMBO. Oh, thanks. Thank you. I can't see your name, but someone's just pasted the um, mental health line there. Can you show us the previous slide? Yep. Oh, so I'll just go back to the previous slide here, just for a few seconds. Okay. Oh, and just to mention, so for those of you that do want a condensed version of these slides, you can actually find it on our website or the Green Prescription app. Okay, so if you go to our website and go under Green Prescription, you'll be able to find it at the very bottom. Okay, cool. So back to the slide. And of course, remembering asking for help or support is a huge sign of strength, definitely not weakness. It's not easy to show our vulnerabilities, but it is a huge step forward. So really encourage anyone to do that, needed. So I want you to take away, what's one small change again, what's one small action that you can make for today and the rest of your week to improve on your mental health, and thinking back around maybe the weaker points in that well-being wheel that I showed you all. What's one thing that you can do to really help that? Yes. All right. So any last questions? Feel free to pop in the chat box. And while you guys do that, I'll just see if I can maybe show you guys where you can find the condensed slides. So typically you can type in Sport Auckland Green Prescription. So this is the website version. So So you go green prescription. Yep, Manpreet. So what you can do is I'm just going to show you, instead of going back to the slides, I'll show you where you can actually find the slideshow yourself. So you can either download it or you can view it in your own kind of like laptop. So you can see here, click here for a drop-down list of condensed slides. And what you want to do is click on mental health and self-care. Yep, and then you'll see all the slides here. The key slides. Hopefully that's helpful. Oh, sorry. Can you guys see the screen? Oh, okay. Hang on. Maybe it's the wrong one. Sorry, guys. Let me just reshare. Oh, there we go. Okay, so this might be the right slide. Yeah, sorry, I've just been showing you. I've been talking through but not showing you. Okay, so I'll just start from fresh. So essentially, you want to type in Sport Auckland Green Prescription. Yep, and then that's the first one that you want to click on. And then you go here, Green Prescription, Online Heal Programs, and SitFit. Scroll all the way down. And this is where it is. So click here for a drop-down list. You click on it, and that's where you find all of the slides. This one here today is mental health awareness. You click on that, and these are all the key slides that you can find. Yeah. And let me just go back to the other one. Okay. And you wanted the physical activity. So, yeah. Oh, yeah, so I think that was the one. There we go. Firm, soft, medium mattresses. Any recommendations for persons with low back issues? Yeah, that would really depend. I mean, I've heard things like firmer tends to be a little bit better for back issues, but not too firm. So I'm kind of leaning towards medium. But again, that would probably depend on what type of a mattress it is, because I know there's things like memory foam. And then there's hybrid ones as well. So I would definitely talk to a physio. I think they would be the most knowledgeable around, back pain and mattresses that will help that. They can even probably talk about like footwear as well. So when you're not sleeping, when you're on your feet, that can affect your pain as well. So yeah, talk to a physiotherapist. Yeah, that's all good. Cool. And Manpreet, you want the Google one again? Yep. So 1 second, and just share the other screen. Okay. So on the other side here. So this is where you want to find it. Is everybody clear on where you can find the slides? Okay, so I'm just going to do it one more time. So you want to type in Sport Auckland Green Prescription, like this. And then you want to click onto the first one, which is Sport Auckland Green Prescription. Are we following? Yeah, just let me know in the chat if you're okay at this point, and then I'll move on. Was that clear? Yep, no problem, Robin. Manpreet, are you seeing this page? Yeah, so over here, you want to click onto Green Prescription here, Online Heal Programs. Awesome, Michael. Yeah, one small change, and it's always about little steps, honestly. There's a really awesome quote that I came across here today, which is, if something feels too hard to do, then that means I think the steps to it is also too large. So making sure that our steps are small, that's kind of like the facilitator for bigger change. So yeah, that's a really good one. Cool. So yeah, Manpreet. So once you click onto online heal programs and Sitbit, this is the page that you get onto. Are we following? Yep, cool. And then once you're here, you want to scroll all the way to the bottom. So very, very bottom. And you're going to go click here for a drop-down list. And once you click, you'll see all the different types of modules that we have. So the one today will be mental health. Can you see that one? Yep, okay, cool. And once you click onto that, it'll take you to the slide. Perfect. All right, cool. So great to see you all here. The next session is going to be next week. And so hopefully same time, if you guys would like to join the Sitbit session, the next Sitbit is going to be on Friday this week at 9:30. Cool, so hopefully see some of you there again, but otherwise, yeah, catch you next week. All right, thanks guys. Have a good rest of your day.